Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Kyle here with a Theta price action update, and Theta's having itself a good day today. If you look to the right in my watch list here, you see this giant sea of red, and then you see T-Fuel here coming in at 8.8%, Theta coming in at 8.5%, and Theta versus Bitcoin up just about 8% at the time of recording. So this giant sea of red and this little beacon of green in there, so good job to Theta for that. Now this daily candle is going to close in about 1 hour, so a lot of you will be probably watching this after this daily candle body closure, but Theta sure did hold its own, at least today, amongst this sea of red, which is a positive sign. Now there's something else positive going on that I can point out, because credit needs to go where credit is due. You see this giant red Russian candle come into the downside here, hitting liquid zone, popping back up, but on the next day's candle, finding support on the white 200 simple moving average, and now we're getting candle body closures above the 200 EMA. When I come over to the Bitcoin chart, you see quite a different story going on here. You see that the daily candles are finding resistance on these wicks from the 200 EMA, and now we're getting candle body closures below the 200 simple moving average. So in other words, Theta really is trying right now to hold itself up as the whole market is just tanking, and Bitcoin's grabbing everything by the heels and yanking it underwater, and Theta's certainly still trying to hold itself up better than some of the other altcoins right now, and better than Bitcoin itself. And what that can imply is that, one second here. Ugh. Excuse me, I just had some salmon. Boy, was it good. Put a lot of lemon, butter, and salt on that thing, so now I'm burping a little bit. Anyway, charming, I'm sure. Altcoins that hold themselves up during these times, I mean, yes, the whole market is in trouble right now. And Theta's not going to be an exception to that, at least for now, until we see a change of behavior between the buyers and sellers. But the stronger coins will usually bounce back the strongest too. So whether this correction plays out over the next few months, couple of weeks, or even if we go into a bear market for a year or two, this can be indicative that Theta will catch a nice bid when the market gets its ass in gear. So that's always a good sign for the long term. However, as you all know, I don't like to do the hopium thing here. I try to keep things balanced so that we can make proper plans and make actionable decisions. Of course, I don't give financial advice either, but I at least try to share my thought process with everyone. A couple of things we have to keep on our radar is this. First of all, we see Theta putting in the all-time high here, lower low for the first time in a while, lower high, and then of course working on the lower low right now. So in other words, we do have a daily downtrend in progress, and that's obviously implying that the sellers are winning the battle, at least for now, on the midterm. And we can clearly see that as price action just continues to drift to the downside. So we do need to see the daily downtrend undone over time. Now, if I circle this area right here, you're going to see that the moving averages are beginning to take more of a bearish posturing as more and more bearish crosses are being fired, as the lower periods cross below the higher periods and are picking up a little bit of steam as price action lives down below this liquid zone. Another thing that we're seeing, if we look left, is as you all know, I love my purple box liquid zones, and you can see back here that there was some wicks that got into that area here. It was as resistance, but once it broke above, nice run to the upside. Then we saw it found as support back in this area here. And what's happening now? Big red lightsaber to the downside. And now price action comes up, wicks right off the top of that liquid zone, and price action gets stuffed down below it. You see yesterday that Theta tried again. I'm just going to get rid of that circle there. Tried again, and the candle body closed down below. And then today's candle almost wicked perfectly off the bottom side of that zone. So what we're seeing here is what's known as a very classic SR flip. So the former support becoming the future resistance, and that's very, very, very textbook stuff right there. Now, what this zone is telling us is it's telling us that there's obviously sellers present there. Whether they're market manipulators, market movers, whatever you want to call them, we know where they are. They're right here. And every single time price action gets up in there, they're stuffing it down right away. So what we want to see is we want to see the bulls push price action through this area. We want to see that area get absolutely shredded. We want to see those sellers get overwhelmed by the buy pressure, and that's going to be telling us that those sellers are either not strong enough there anymore, or they're out of ammo, or they're no longer selling the market at that point in time. But we can also see that if price action was to get up there, that it has some work still cut out for it. We see the 0.382, the Fibonacci retracement. I've popped a horizontal on that, so when you look left, you see it serving as support here, multiple touches. You see it right there, and you see it as resistance in that area there. So that's telling us that perhaps some sellers could be present there. So here, we're seeing what they're doing. We're seeing people vote with their wallets. We're not seeing Twitter posts or hype or speculation. We're seeing what people are actually doing when they put their money at risk or when they're selling. We're seeing it. We're identifying these areas where these market sellers are present, or in this case here, where the market buyers are present. And that's giving us clues. It's telling a story as to what's going on here. So when we see these areas getting taken out, we can go, okay, roger that. Those sellers aren't there anymore. The bulls were stronger. Maybe we're getting some upticks to the upside. That's why this is very, very, very important. As you can see too, that when you saw this big red Russian lightsaber come into the downside, where did it hit? It hit this former liquid zone. Where was that former liquid zone? You saw it as resistance right here. You saw it get shredded here, became support before we had another leg up in the bull cycle over there. So finding these areas in the chart, learning how to do that can give us some very, very interesting insight. And often you can do this without any of the noise distracting you from seeing what's simply going on. And then, of course, that helps us make a plan as to where we're going to buy a dip, where are we going to take profit, if this, then that. And so anyways, there's always a good way to look at things. So we do need to see this liquid zone get taken out. Of course, we see major areas in here that need to get taken out, and we'll keep a very, very close eye on that going forward. Now, if price action rolls over here, then areas I'll be watching to the downside, actually I've already stuck horizontal there, will be $5. If it takes out the 200 EMA here, likely it falls down to the 200. That's the next area we look at, we pay attention to. If it takes out that area there, then it could revisit this liquid zone down below. We also see that the 377 is coming in there on a daily, so plenty of confluence. That would be our next major area to pay attention to. And that liquid zone has the top side at $4, and then it has a bottom side coming in around $3.70. And again, I'm not saying that's where price is going. I'm just saying, if price action rolls to the downside, those are the areas we pay attention to. Let's check out the momentum oscillators there. RSI is still in the bearish control zone. Let's see if it can get out of there, get above that EMA would be nice. Down here on the stochastics, they've technically got across to the outside, so let's see if there's any follow through here. If it gets some follow through, these can spit themselves out of the bearish control zone, then perhaps the bulls do want to put in some buying momentum here. That would be encouraging as well, but nothing too actionable down there. And of course, we've got to keep our eyes on Bitcoin, the rest of the market, of course. Dropping down to the MACD, we see the MACD, maybe the negative momentum is beginning to wane as we see a lighter colored bar of momentum coming in here, but the moving averages are still nosediving at this point in time. So, of course, we're going to have to be patient, see how this all plays out. Those are the areas that I'm going to be watching, and we'll just see. Now, when we get the new trading week, what happens with Bitcoin? Does Bitcoin have itself a bounce, a turnaround Tuesday maybe, or something like that? And if it does, what happens to the rest of the market? Of course, I bring fairly frequent price updates here on Theta, so I'll continue to bring them to you. Anyhow, hope you guys are all doing well out there. Great to see you. Looking forward to seeing the next video. Until I do, have yourselves a powerful day.